What's going on, guys? It's GBP baby. Welcome back to another video. I hope everybody's doing well, and let's dive straight into things. Hopefully you checked out yesterday's video. If not, do go check it out. But nonetheless, we're going to be starting on the daily, and you can start to see our price is doing its typical thing for non-farm payroll weeks when it likes to consolidate heavily and stay very range bound, taking out both sides of the market. So you can see yesterday we had large wicks both on the buy side and the sell side, running out stops below Friday's lows, and then today we stayed within the range of Monday. So moving into tomorrow, I am still biased in wanting to see price trade lower. So in yesterday's video, you'll remember me talking about this little range here, which is a consolidation. I also spoke about this on Sunday's video, and I was saying how price ideally is going to stay below it, and that's exactly what's happening. Yes, we're wicking into it here, and here, but look at how price is struggling to get through it. And this is what I was talking about yesterday and on Sunday. Because the likelihood is, if it's going to trade through this, it's going to do it with aggression. And I'm not saying it can't do that. It's just that it's going to need some very high impact news to drive it. Whether that's non-farm payroll or not, I don't know. But my point is, I've never seen this news before. But my point is, it's going to, ideally, this should be able to hold price because of the way we traded through it, both on the sell side, buy side, and then we've left it on the sell side. And you can see it again. The wicks are respecting it, and the volume of the candles are respecting it, but the wicks are going into it. So it's nice to see that we are respecting the PD raise. It's just a matter of waiting till we get out of the range, because you can see we're just stuck in this range right now. I'll show you between this high and this low. You can see our price is just messing about with this 50% level, and yeah, this is where we just have to wait, I guess. But overall, I'm still looking at these relative equal lows below here, and below here to get taken. This is still quite a heavy bias of mine. This is assuming we do stay below here. If the 50% level of this consolidation gets traded through, different story, and I'll start looking for these highs to get traded to. But ideally, we stay below it. But let's take a look at the daily wick one more time. And again, there's not really much going on other than the fact that we are respecting this bearish daily order block, which I did speak about yesterday as well. So yeah, I'm looking at volume, and I'm appreciating the fact that we're respecting, higher time frame PD raises in the daily. 50% levels getting respected, and yeah, you can see that here as well. So there's only so much we can do when we're this range bound, as in, look, we've been staying between this range for a long time now, but when we do expand out of it, at least then we'll have a strong bias to get in on the market. We will drop down to the 1 hour, and you'll see a little bit more clear as to what's going on. So I will mark out Sunday's opening price, which is right here, and we'll drag that right through, make that dashed. I'm going to make it a little bit thinner, and we know that that's Sunday's opening price. Now, one thing to take note of is where we are in reference to Sunday opening price. So you'll see that we created a low here on Monday, it traded higher, back above it, found support on the Sunday opening price here, found support here. So now we're just stuck between these ranges. Now, it's rare for the lows of the week to get made on a Monday, so this is supportive of our bias in us wanting to see price drop lower and run out those Monday lows and run into our sell side liquidity target. Now, that doesn't mean it has to do it. What I'm saying is that it's just rare that Monday creates the low. So it could be that we're up here creating a high for the week, and then we are going to trade on lower. But obviously, we're non-farm payroll, and this news event tomorrow, which I've never, well, we know what that's about, but I mean, like, we've never had that before. So I don't know how that's going to affect the markets. Also, the time of day is going to be impacted. But if we continue to respect this bearish order block, there's no reason that we won't see large expansion running into the south side liquidity below here. But until then, you can see that price today was pretty nasty in terms of back and forth, not much movement since Monday. And like I said, this is that consolidation. Look at how price is respecting the 50% level of it. You can't make this up here. And then over here as well. Like, price is trading into it, but look what happens as soon as we trade into it, it gets rejected. Rejection block level right here, price taps into it, found rejection, beautiful displacement, and now price just messing around. So I am expecting that we continue that behavior, with the ideal situation being us taking out Tuesday's lows and running into that Sunday opening price below here. And then once we're below that, it should be easy enough to then look for setups using it as resistance to trade on lower. So yeah, very interesting week. But again, this kind of manipulation is typical for non-farm payroll weeks. I do forget what this orange line is. Let's try and find out. Right, that's 50% off the weekly. I did speak about this on Sunday as well, and I was saying that this is the highest I want to see price trade for me to remain bearish, and you can see we haven't even managed to trade into that yet. So that's kind of like a barrier for me, as in that's the highest I'm willing to let price trade, and you can see that we're continuing to respect that. So you've seen how my PD arrays are being translated down, and they still remain relevant. I will still keep this up because there's no reason for, as far as I'm concerned, price to trade above that level. And yeah, not really much has changed on my bias. It's just interesting to see how consolidated we're getting. But once we leave this range, you know, this is a fairly traded range. Like, look at this. If I draw this fair value gap out, we'll make it a different color. Take out the middle point, and you can see our price is traded up on the downside, upside, downside, upside, downside, upside. We're back above it again, but I'm saying once we leave that, we should be able to use this as a strong point to then expand away from. But again, it's going to be interesting to see the way the news impacts that. Now, I will repeat myself here. I don't know how this news tomorrow is going to impact the markets, and also it's not impossible for lows to get made on Monday. It's just that my bias for the week was to see expansion to the downside. So seeing this rally early in the week is supportive of my expectations if you've been watching. So yeah, something to consider. So that's going to be everything on dollar. Let's head on to GBP USD, take a closer look. And again, you can see how that messiness is reflected here as well. So let's go to the daily, take a closer look, and you can see not much again. So hopefully you've watched yesterday's video. If not, do go watch it. But again, really not much. Basically, all I'm talking about, all I've been mentioning is the way that we're just stuck in this range bound between this low and this high. Now, this back and forth price action isn't the best to want to be trading in, but you can see how today price ran out that Monday low, came back up, and is starting to trade higher. But our bias is to get up into this range up here, in line with dollar ideally dropping. So it's interesting to see the way that we're failing to take out this south side liquidity. Although I've marked it out, I put it there because there's potential for price to want to run it. However, if we fail to take that, that shows extreme bullishness in that it's failing to take out any kind of south side PD array. So then when it does expand, we should see it do it quite, you know, with force and with momentum. And the way, so you can study this a little bit more, and then you'll see the way that price is treating this rejection block level, which is here. As in, we've tapped into it here, tapped into it here, tapped into it here, and then even this rejection block level right here, same thing, we're tapping into it here, we've tapped into it here. Just little things to take into consideration. This is technically a bullish order block right here, and then if we look at volume, we're respecting the 50% levels. Wicks do the damage, guys. So that's where people get caught. It's the wicks which are driving people insane. So if we ignored all the wicks, this is respecting bullish PD arrays in that we're respecting the rejection block levels below here and below here, and we're respecting this bullish order block, as in volume is staying, and respecting the 50% level. But like I said, it's the wicks that do the damage, and that's what we need to be careful of. So moving into tomorrow, ideally, again, we might create some kind of low. The lowest I'd want to see price trade ideally is 25% level. I've spoken about this a million times, guys. 25% level is better than the 50% level. It can go down here, it can. It's just I like when it respects the 25% level, because that shows extreme bearishness to me. So we'll drop down to the 4 hour, take a closer look. And you can see, again, we're starting to, you can see how this range, we traded down and then up. This whole range is now, as far as I'm concerned, has been fairly traded, in that price shouldn't need to run these lows at all. Like, let me get rid of these for now. But I'm saying, if we shouldn't be able to run past this 50% level, which happens to line up with that 25% level. So you see how these PD arrays are stacking on top of each other? I'm not saying it can't happen, but that's what I'm looking at. And then, yeah, fair value gap came and tapped into it, and again I'm then looking at these highs to get ran up here as potential draw on liquidity, assuming that dollar is able to remain bearish and respective of its PD arrays at the bearish daily order block, which I spoke about all week. So that's what I'm expecting on GBP. I hope that all makes sense. Let's go to the 15-minute real quick, see what we can find. It's interesting to see we came here, grabbed some sell stops today, which is nice to see. And as soon as we accumulated those sell stops, classic reversal right here at 9:30. Changing the state of delivery right here, breaker, low, high, low, low, go long, and then we should expect us to run out, you know, the next recent high, which is this high, and this high, which is the high from our current trading range, if that makes sense. So that's where I'm targeting, assuming that dollar wants to behave itself. But again, after seeing that news announcement tomorrow, I have no idea what to expect, but it should be interesting nonetheless. And yeah, this will be first stage accumulation, second stage accumulation. So if we wanted to get in on this, we're looking for third stage, which we should be able to identify from the sell side. As in, we can look at the current trading range and see where that's likely to occur. But we could talk about that in another video, and then we will ideally, you get the bias. Let's head on to Euro USD, and then at the end we are going to take a quick look at divergence. But for now, very interesting. Now Euro was interesting in that this point of consolidation I spoke about yesterday, right? This fair value gap. We dipped down into it just as anticipated, ran up again, found rejection again, and came down, grabbed stops, and now look at how price is playing around this level. I find it fascinating. So we need to pay close attention to that, and that once we're above it, we should be able to see it act as support, because here it's acted as support, then we traded through it, acted as resistance, then we traded through it, and it's using it as a range. So they're clearly using this price point for some reason. That either smart money is either buying or selling right now. I'm assuming they're buying, with the expectation that we can see expansion in line with dollar, dropping off, assuming it continues to respect its bullish PD arrays. So yeah, interesting price action nonetheless. Now let's see if we can see any divergence. And then in terms of targets for Euro, it'd be up here, as in that's the trading range high, which I'd be looking to be trading to, assuming it respects everything accordingly. It's just that the way that price is delivering, as in how dirty it's delivering, it makes price difficult to read because it's time dilation as ICT coins. So let's add GBP to the charts, and let's add dollar at the bottom. And what I want to look at and talk about is the divergence we have. So this is why I believe we may be onto something. So here you can see that dollar's failed to take out that high. So dollar's made a lower high there. And then here you can see that what are we looking at? We're looking at lows. Yeah, dollar's made a lower high, whereas GBP's made a lower low and Euro's made a lower low, but dollar hasn't made a higher high. So what does that mean? Well, it means we're seeing weakness in the dollar, because dollar said no to taking out that high and then dropped off, right? Yes, we've retraced back into the fair value gap, but we're seeing divergence in that it's failed to take out that same high. So there's weakness in dollar whilst pound and euro were accumulating stops. So we should be able to see dollar continue to fall off precipitously, assuming that this divergence is correct. But this is just something to consider. We'll talk more on this tomorrow. And obviously there's NFPs this week, so manipulation is at its most right now, low risk and everything, guys. So that's just something to take into account. And then in terms of Sunday opening price, same again. Like if we look at the Sunday opening price for euro, we've been below that price level all week. So as in we're moving into Wednesday now and we're still below it, and we have a bullish bias. So what does that mean? We can use it as a target, and I've done this multiple times in my videos where I'll call this as a target and I'll use it as a trading target. So I'll go long and I'll expect stops. Look, we've got relative equal highs above here, beautiful relative equal highs, but this high, all of this is way too smooth to be true. I really like the look of this. So it'd be nice to see if price can get up there, assuming the divergence is in line, and then that's us using that Sunday opening price as a target. And like I said, Monday is very rare for the high to be made. I'm not saying it can't be done, but because of how rare it is, we then have a likelihood that we'll come back for that Monday high, assuming that we're bullish and assuming that it doesn't want to create the high then. So yeah, it should be very interesting tomorrow, especially with that new news announcement. I'm going to be interested to see how that affects things. But yeah, that's going to be everything for this video, guys. I hope you found it insightful. Don't forget to drop a like, drop a comment, smash subscribe, join the mailing list, and join me over on Discord. All the links are in the description. Turn on post notifications, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow. Thank you so much for watching. Peace.